Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is I, Eric Reed, personal transportation consultant once again, sitting in a brand new 2016 Nissan Versa. And I'm here to talk to you about something a bit important that everyone needs to know. Financing options. Yes, financing options. Oh. I need to be honest with you guys. Frankly. This is coming up because I've been dealing with a lot of this lately. There are two options when financing. Two. Option one is to get a bank finance, which will have various terms, payments based on month. Generally speaking, banks like to see 5 to 10% down. Now, that doesn't mean you need 5 to 10% down. That's what they like to see. If you don't have that, you're going to get a higher interest rate. If you get a higher interest rate, you're going to be paying more per month. More than this. Oh, so much more than this. This is the most important part, people. Generally speaking, the average for a monthly payment is about, let's say, every $10,000 financed is $200 a month in payment, or every $5,000 is $100 a month. This is math. It changes a bit based on APR, but that's what it is. I can't change that. So if you buy a $20,000 vehicle, so after tax, title, license, and everything comes out to be $20,000, it's going to be a $400 car. It just is. I can do nothing about that. You can try to extend it to 84 months. That'll bring it down. But it's still going to be that much. I cannot change that part of it. So, we need to be aware of this when making our buying decision. You need to know how much car you're getting versus how much you're willing to spend. And if you tell any one of us, any car salesman, any personal transportation consultant, any professional, I want my payment to be whatever the number is, $300 a month. Okay. We are ignoring that because you're telling us you want this car at this price. Most of us have told you or talked to you something about what to expect. So when you tell us that you want $300 a month on a $400 a month car, you're asking us for $5,000 off. Think about your own job. Let's say you're a computer technician and you get paid $20 an hour. Let's just say that for easy math. $20 an hour as a computer technician. You go through, you see all these lovely things, you fix all the computers, and the guy comes up to you and says, okay, you made $20 an hour this week, and you worked 40 hours, so that comes up to, $8,000. No, it doesn't. It comes up to $800. $800. But I'd really like to not pay you $400 of that. Will you give them your services half off? Every salesperson in Washington that I know of, every car salesperson is paid on commission. There are a few places out there that do not pay on commission anymore. Tesla doesn't pay on commission. They do their own little special thing with the sales consultants. It's a wholly different experience from a traditional car sales lot, but it's a wholly different car as well. So we don't get paid on the full car. We get paid on the gross profit. So however expensive the car is doesn't mean that's what we get paid on. we get paid on how much the company made on the car. So a new car, we have about 3% profit, roughly. In a dealership, there's about 3% profit. It's not a lot of room. It really isn't. People want to cut thousands of dollars off. There's not much room. Not to say we won't do it, but you start to understand why salespeople start to get angry. Because you want all the money in the world, but you're taking it right out of their pocket. You're sitting across the table from them. And you're telling them, I don't believe you deserve to be paid. That's a frustrating part for us. Because we go, we show you, we answer all the questions. We do our job. And then you're telling us, we have to wait for you to tell us how much we're allowed to get paid for our time with you. Now, that's with traditional financing. The structure of a lease deal, which are becoming more popular these days, the structure of a lease deal is wholly different. A lease structure is more dependent on your credit than anything else. So, I can give you basic numbers on a traditional finance, not knowing your credit, having a general idea of what your credit is. I cannot do that with a lease. Think about all the commercials that say, it can be $199 a month for well-qualified lessees. It's more than just the credit. There are other risk factors involved, because there is an expectation of quality when a lease gets returned, because we anticipate most lessees will return their vehicle after the lease time, generally a 3-year term. There can be a 2-year term, there can be a 3-year term. I've seen a 5-year lease. That doesn't mean all places will allow it. It's just I've seen it happen. We have a lot of things that we need to be aware of in a lease. So if you're a first-time buyer, you may not get a lease. That's not saying you're a horrible person. That's saying that you don't qualify. So we need to make sure of what we can do to get you qualified. In order to do that, we have to do a credit check. You cannot come in and shop prices on a lease. It doesn't work. And what does it matter what the price of the lease is if the car's not right? There's a lot of cars out there. Every one of them drives a little bit different. Every one of them has a little bit different technology. Everyone's going to feel different on the inside. You need to find the car that's right for you. So, when asking price, you need to be sure that the car is correct. You can go out and get a $6,000 car. No one's stopping you from going out and buying a $6,000 car. But that $6,000 car, honestly, is going to end up being, by the end of 3 years, a $15,000, $16,000, $17,000, maybe $18,000 car when you factor in all the repairs, all the maintenance, and everything you're going to have to do on it. It got you going, but it's not going to keep you there. If you can afford a payment, you can get a car. If you can afford a $6,000 car, you can afford a monthly payment. It's just a matter of getting you financed. And my credit is terrible. I'm not ashamed to admit it. My credit is horrible. But I got financed. I'm sitting in my car. This car is a $13,000 car that I'm paying over 72 months, just over $300 a month. Right around $350 actually. Plus insurance. And that, I understood where my credit situation was. I knew what I could afford. I knew what I needed to do to get it. So this isn't the car of my dreams, but it's the car that will get me there. We all got to start somewhere. Some of us need to restart. So let's be honest about our financial situation. Let's not be so stuck on payment. And if you are stuck on payment, you need to be more flexible on what you're going into. If you've only been paying on a car for a year, you're going to be doubling your payment 9 times out of 10. If you've been paying on a car for 2 years, you're going to get your payment plus half. 3 years, you may be breaking even. But depending on what car you're moving into, your payment's going to change. It all depends on what you're financing. So, let's be honest about these prices, okay? Be honest with yourself and be honest with your salesperson. Most salespeople are not going to show you a car we know you cannot afford. We need you to work with us. Otherwise, we're just that salesman who's stabbing in the dark and you get angry at because we're not, quote, listening to you. We're trying. But you got to tell us something to work with. Well, that's all I have for this one. A little bit depressing, more than I normally try to take it, so keep that in mind. Be realistic, guys. So, Eric Reed, personal transportation consultant, here at Tacoma Nissan, trying to help you become a smarter car buyer.